What is up, Gaming Nation? This is JMO76, and we are back with our college football conference simulation series. Last week we did the SEC. This week it's all about the Big Ten, and what a championship game this is going to be. We got the number 1 Oregon Ducks versus the number 2 Penn State Nittany Lions. This is truly a heavyweight tilt, and honestly, this game could go either way. It's also going to have massive playoff implications. Right now, we got Penn State there in the 3rd spot, Oregon in the number 1 spot. Anything could potentially happen in this game, so who knows what's going to happen in terms of the college football playoff when we get to that point. And speaking of that point, if you are enjoying the content, please consider liking and subscribing. Really would appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. Thanks so much. So looking at the Big Ten, no real shock there. We had Oregon number 1, and again, they had an absolutely dominating season, running the table, not a single loss on the calendar, and they also had a big win versus Penn State, 48-45. And that was a huge match. That was in Penn State. So the fact that Oregon has already won that one, got to give them a slight nod in terms of this game. But it was a real throwdown. Penn State actually was pretty competitive in terms of the offensive punch that they put up with Oregon. But again, they did beat them earlier in the season, so that's going to be a really interesting one to see. The rest of the season, the Ducks really steamrolled their competition. Really, for the most part, wasn't close. In terms of Penn State, again, they also had a monster season. They did have 2 losses on the season. One loss to Indiana, and that's an interesting one because Indiana right now, technically, they had a good season, but I mean, losing to Indiana at home, that is a huge one. So that could really potentially cost them when it comes to rankings for the final college football playoff. Michigan State had a strong season as well. Illinois was a really interesting one. 10-2 on the season. They had an outstanding season. They're actually number 4 overall. Very likely to be in the college football playoff, depending on how things shake down. They had a huge loss, though, to USC, 63-17. Like that alone, that's got to hurt your resume. And they also got blown out by Ohio State, 59-10. So they had a great season, but 2 massive losses. Those are not small losses. But that said, they're still really looking like they're going to be in the college football playoff in some capacity. And in terms of the rest of the conference, Ohio State, they've got to be disappointed with a 9-3 season. Michigan State, nice sort of rebound there, 7-5, and then pretty much everyone else, a lot of that's expected. Wisconsin, seeing them at 5-7, that's really not expected. Washington, 5-7, they did not like their introduction to the Big Ten. But again, with that overall offensive punch, you can see there, Oregon just dominates in terms of points, 524 points on the season. Look at that, though. You've got right behind them, you got Penn State. In terms of offensive yardage, Penn State actually has a little bit more on the season. So both offenses, really high-powered offenses, absolutely dominating in terms of yards per game, points per game, offensive production. And same thing on the defensive side. Oregon, number 1. Penn State right behind them in terms of points per game, 18.1 to 18.5. Only 217 points given up on the defense versus 222. Like, again, these are 2 incredibly strong defenses. And the real wild card, I think, for me in this game is going to be Mackie Hughes. This guy is a beast. He's likely going to win the Doak Walker Award. But the junior, he's a halfback, but he does it all. 1,200 yards of carries on the season. Also 177 receptions out of the backfield, but he is a beast. So I could easily see him dominating this game today. So with that, let's get to it. And here come the Ducks. You never know what they're going to wear. They got the retro helmets right now, rocking the green jerseys. Love it. Absolutely love it. And so they are going to be a slight favorite in this game as they were undefeated on the season. And here comes Penn State, led by their quarterback. The guy's a beast, Drew Aller. Gotta love that clean look of the Penn State unis. Absolutely love that. So here they come out onto the field. This is truly a heavyweight tilt. Number 1, Oregon. Number 3, Penn State. Really, this is anyone's game. But again, going to give a slight nod to Oregon. So with that, let's get it underway here in the first quarter. And quarterback in the gun, Dante Moore. Nice reception, brings it in. And with that, it's going to be 4th and goal. They're going to go for it and into the end zone. Moore takes it himself for the touchdown. That's guts going on 4th down in the conference championship game. And with that, Oregon takes the lead. First score of the game, and ultimately, yes, takes the lead. And it's a nice drive down the field. Penn State, again, they played strong on defense, but they couldn't quite stop them on 4th down. So with that, first quarter comes to an end. Ducks really have dominated in terms of passing yards. Neither team really has done anything in terms of running the ball. But with that first quarter, very low score, and kind of thought we were going to be like probably 20 points each there by the end of the first quarter. But again, really low scoring. With that, to start the second quarter here, we have Oregon. They have the ball back. They are going for the long field goal. It's up. And it is good. And just like that, the Ducks go up 10-0 here in the conference championship. Penn State really is going to need to respond. So what can they do here on offense? Here we have Drew Aller. Oh, beautiful strike down the field. Has his beast of a receiver there, Liam Clifford. Clifford brings it in. That is going to make it 1st and goal for Penn State. They really need a big score here. Get back in this game as they're down by 10. So with that, Aller in the gun. And the handoff. Oh, and gives it to the running back into the end zone. Nicholas Singleton. This kid is legit. Absolute beast at running back position. And with that, that is going to make it 10-6 with the extra point to come. Nicholas Singleton, honestly, one of the best running backs in the nation. The guy is absolute fire. So the extra point, pretty much a gimme at this point, but puts it through, and with that, it is 10-7, Oregon over Penn State. Here we go again, 3rd and goal. Oh, look at that Oregon defense. Aller tries to go up the middle. He is stopped, and so with that, Penn State forced to go for the field goal again on 4th down, and again, it's a short little kick, goes up, goes through, and just like that, we are back to a tie in this game, 10-10. Oregon went up by 10, and Penn State's crawled the way back now with 53 seconds left. Oh, what a pass out of the backfield. Beautiful bringing it in there, Mackie Hughes. 38 seconds left. Here goes Hughes again. What a move. The spinorama into the end zone. And that is how it's done. The salute is given. That was a beautiful run. What a play. Ducks storm down the field there. Mackie Hughes just, wow, dekes the defender right out. Beautiful spin move and right into the corner. Just as time is ticking down here in the first half. That is a massive score. Lets Oregon go up by 6 and now by 7. 34 seconds left in the half. That's going to be a huge score. So with that, ultimately going into the half, Oregon up 17-10. A lot lower scoring than I would have thought. Offensively speaking, both offenses have not put up the types of numbers that would be expected. The advantage definitely does go to Oregon. They've got more passing yards. A little under there in terms of the run yards, which is really surprising. But Mackie Hughes has been really involved in terms of the passing game. And Dante Moore has had a strong game. Penn State, they are not to be underestimated, though, at all. I think they could easily come back in this game. They're only down by 7 right now. As you can see there, Dante Moore had a pretty strong game. Did have an interception. We didn't see that, but that was a tough one. And Drew Aller, also, same thing, had a pretty solid game thus far. Singleton's been running the ball well, only 8 carries, but with that 33 yards. And Dante Moore, he's had 8 carries, but he's only had basically minus 3 yards in terms of the game. Mackie Hughes, 7 carries for 30 yards, but he's also been really involved in the pass game, the leading receiver there with 5 receptions. So he's going to continue to be a force as we go through this second half. And ultimately, the question is going to be, will Penn State be able to get some revenge? They lost to Oregon earlier in the season here. So with that, third quarter, halfway through, beautiful strike there. Dante Moore hits his receiver. Now, fourth goal, Dante Moore. He's got a ton of time. He's going to try to run it, and he can't make it. Hunted down by the defense. Oregon hands it over on fourth down. That could be a costly play. So looking at the end of the third, again, both offenses really have not exploded yet. Oregon definitely has the advantage. That's a shocker, though. That's the second time in the game that Oregon has went for it on fourth down. They didn't make it that time. That could be costly. Had they taken the 3 points, that may have changed everything here in terms of how things are going. But with that, Oregon has the ball back here to start the fourth. They're going to go for the long field goal. Again, puts it up, puts it through. And just like that, Oregon is up 20-10. You gotta say, you gotta give it to Oregon. They're always willing to take that risk, to take that risky shot down the field, and it didn't pay off on that one. But here we go. Penn State gets the ball back here late in the fourth, and they get the field goal. That's going to make it 20-13. They're still down by a touchdown. So does Penn State have what it takes to get back in this game? Now down to a minute and 42. Drew Aller scans the field, has a beautiful strike across the middle into Penn State territory. Into Oregon territory. Clock running here, a minute and 4 left. Aller again scans the field here on second down. He's going to run it. Does he have what it takes? Yes, he does. And look at that. Just like that, it's going to be first and goal. 43 seconds on the clock. First and goal. Aller in the gun. Clock is counting down. We're at 37 seconds. He drops back. He's scanning the field. Throws it off and hits his receiver, but it brings it down at about the 3. There's going to be 33 seconds left here. Second and goal. Can Penn State tie this game up? Aller again back in the gun, looking for a receiver to the end zone. Touchdown! Has Liam Clifford, the all-star receiver, brings it in, and just like that, it is 2019 Oregon with basically like under 30 seconds left. Liam Clifford, that was a huge reception. Totally beats the zone there, brings it in, just gets the toes down, makes it 2019, extra point to come. They are excited. Putting it through here is going to tie things up, under 30 seconds to go. And with that, it's up, it's through, and it is now 29 seconds left. So with that, game ends 2020. We are going to overtime for the conference championship for the Big Ten. And again, this is all about very different from the NFL. This is the college rules. So each of the teams are getting those possessions, and ultimately, if one of the teams is stopped and the other one scores on the next possession, then that is going to be the winner. So here we go. And it's first play of the game. Oh my goodness gracious. I can't believe it. Oh, wow. Dante Moore, first play of overtime, intercepted. Wow. This game is now, Penn State has all the control here. All they need to do is score, and they will become the championship of the Big Ten. But the Oregon defense saying, not today. We are not going to give this one too easily. That's a huge sack, absolutely huge sack. It's going to make it 2nd and 16. Terrence Green, the defensive tackle, what a monster, just breaks through the backfield, has 2 sacks today already, and brings down Drew Aller. So with that, it's going to be 2nd and 16. What can Aller do here? He's in the gun, scans the field, throws it off to the receiver, and he's going nowhere there. So now it's going to be 3rd and 19. And what does Aller have up the hat? Can he get the ball here a little bit closer? Oh, and with that, he hits Singleton out of the backfield. That's going to bring it a little bit closer. But with that, it's going to be a long field goal. It's going to be about 48 yards. Oregon has taken the timeout, trying to do the ice routine. Let's see here if it works. Here we go. Oh, with that, hits the kicker. But that said, through the uprights, that's going to make it 23-20. I can't think that this isn't going against Oregon. Yep, roughing the kicker. With that, Penn State will decline. They will take the field goal. That's a walk-off field goal to win the Big Ten. Wow. The Nittany Lions pull out the massive comeback victory and take down Goliath, the number 1 Oregon Ducks defeated by Penn State in the Big Ten Championship in overtime. Wow. All I can think right now is going back to that gutsy call on 4th and 1. Oregon goes for it, and they don't make it. And with that, here we go. Penn State, congratulations. You have won the Big Ten Championship. That was a tight game. That was a close game. Overall, in terms of stats, very low scoring, very low offensive production for both teams. They are usually double that amount of offense that they had today. There were a couple key plays in that game, though. That fourth down that Oregon didn't make, that was huge. Also, Dante Moore threw 2 huge interceptions, whereas Drew Aller had a clean sheet. Again, Moore played well except for those 2 interceptions, but he just didn't have the stats like he normally would. Again, Drew Aller, a solid game, 24 for 30, 207 yards, and the TD, that massive drive there to score the TD. That was big. Singleton had a solid game, 14 rushes, 88 yards, basically averaging over 6 yards a carry, and he did have a TD. And Mackie Hughes had, again, productive game, 17 carries, 71 yards, had the touchdown, also had a number of receptions, 6 receptions, 41 yards. Really, they had the stronger offense today, but that Dante Moore interception that he threw in overtime, that was just a killer. And the mistakes that Oregon made today, that ultimately cost them the championship here for the Big Ten. So we're going to see what ultimately that is going to do in terms of the shakeup for the college football playoffs. Really don't know exactly how this is going to impact things, but as we work our way through the rest of the conference championships, we will see how that goes. Yeah, again, it's really a big shocker. We did not see the SEC going the way that it did. This was an expected game, not surprised by this one at all. But again, what are the ripple effects going to be for the college football playoffs as we move forward on this one? And again, like the defense there for Penn State, the defense for Oregon, they're both monsters in terms of the defense. But those interceptions just killed Oregon today. And Dante Moore, I'm sure he wishes he could have those back. Without those 2 interceptions, without getting stuffed on that 4th and 1, this is a different game. Oregon wins, and they are still undefeated. But with that, they do fall. So we're going to have to see how that is going to shake things up in the next episode. And in our next episode, we're actually going to be jumping into our 3rd conference to see how things go down. We are going to be looking at the ACC and how that is going to shape things up. So that's going to be a really interesting one. Two conferences down so far. Absolutely fascinating results. Anyways, hope you're enjoying the content. See you next time. Bye-bye.